to increase acreage by 10,810 to benefit about 30,000 farmers and West Kano. Yeah, so all that it is Aero is already going under turnkey project. And then we have got others. All that Bunyala has just been improved, but it's still going. The Migori, we have got Lower Kuja, which has got the highest potential in the country. If you can do go down. And of course, we have got other new schemes. And these are the one that is Gunga Sare irrigation scheme in Nyamira, in Bondo. We have other irrigation scheme, Nyaboaite irrigation scheme in Nyamira. Suba cluster irrigation scheme. So these are irrigation schemes that are, they have already been designed, waiting for investment. I think National Irrigation Authority in the near future is going to start the one that is listed there as Olambwe, the other one called Konyango, and another one called Nyamaji, to put this area under irrigation. Bondo also, I think irrigation scheme is also starting, Aero West Kano, Lower Kuja, all these are being, this line is put there just to compare the investment that farmers get, the opportunities that farmers get. You can see the number of farmers for Aero. Area under irrigation for Aero and area under irrigation for Mwea. Mwea is very big, but we have got more farmers in Aero, in Mwea here, and you can see the annual return, annual production. And then you can see value of crop, the return that farmers get. Aero is annually 3.1 billion. Mwea, annually 9.1 billion. So this is creating wealth. This is a source of wealth for the people. So this tells us that there's money in agriculture. There's money in farming. 3.1 billion is not little money. 9.1 billion is not little money either. So if we can improve on irrigation, we can do more irrigation, then we can take our people out of the poverty line, on irrigation. So we need to invest on irrigation. I believe that's the last slide. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wish the hall was full so that all of us can hear this story. Thank you.
Right here.
Okay. I'm waiting for the presentation. Colleagues, you can assist me with the presentation.
Could we have the next presentation shared or projected?
Okay, as it is projected, I can be introducing myself. I'm Engineer Joseph Kamau, working with Adi Waterworks Development Agency. We are actually responsible for water and sanitation services in the great metropolitan region of Nairobi. And the PowerPoint is here. I'm joined with my colleagues whom we work with. Some are outside in the exhibition, but we continue. Our lecture today is sustainable harnessing of water sources, as the title indicates. So welcome. And we thought that this is good presentation for the Nyanza region so that we can do benchmarking with what we are doing in Nairobi. So the next slide. Next slide. The contents are as indicated. The water and sanitation sector requires a lot of innovation, as this can unlock a lot of potential and also enhance domestic manufacturing sector. And through the presentation, we shall be showcasing innovations that we have done towards sustainable development. Of course, this Engineer Lima has repeated about the classifications of the Kenyan water availability and allocation per capita, so we can proceed on. So because of the challenges that water is facing, there is need to innovate so that the solutions that we provide are able to be sustainable, we provide affordable services, and we provide appropriate solutions to ensure water security. And what we can do is we need to develop climate resilience, water treatment technologies. We apply smart water management systems, green energy solutions, eco-friendly sanitation solutions, and of course involve our communities in the water and sanitation space. That is the Kenyan Constitution. I believe this one, my colleague, the Water Secretary, has delved in it a lot. So I think we can continue on. These are, we have an enabling piece of legislation, which is geared towards investments in the water sector. And at least Engineer Lima has said about, has reported about the private public partnerships and the amendments that have been done in the last one in the Act, in the Water Act 2016. They provide a framework granting the water development agencies to enter into public-private partnerships in financing the development and maintenance of water infrastructure. We can enhance the functions of waterworks development agencies to be bulk water providers. And we can, it has also enabled the sector regulator to regulate the water services provision through bulk tariffs. And also this cross references with the PPP Act of 2016. These are some of the pictorial images of how the situation is. That is harnessing the tunnel. I think we can continue on. This is the Northern Collector Tunnel at the exit, a 12-kilometer water services intervention, which I believe what Engineer Lima is talking of, Bunyunyu, Magwagwa, and Soinkoru could be having this so that we can do interbasin transfers. These are water storage treatment plants. And on your right is a water treatment that is producing about 140 million liters every day for the city of Nairobi and other network of storage reservoirs in Nairobi. We can continue. We have developed a dam, which is called Karimeno Dam, which serves the Nairobi metropolitan region with a total of 73 million liters. That one serves the area of Nairobi and the neighboring towns. Together with, it has a storage capacity of 26 billion liters. And this involved a lot of resettlement and livelihood restoration of about acquisition of 700 acres and resettlement of about 5,000 persons. And these are some of the challenges that investments working together with the government and county governments, we are able to produce. And the storage reservoirs, as Engineer Lima has reported about Soinkoru and the Magwawa Dam, I think those are These are systems that are sustainable to ensure that the region has adequate water supply. Let's proceed. That is a bird's eye view of how the reservoir looks like. That is the Karimeno reservoir. It's now, and then now we go to the adoption of green energy, solar modules. We are generating 1.5 megawatts to power the Oroitoktok water supply project, which serves the neighboring, the border town of Oroitoktok. We are also for community-based projects. They are solar powered, and also use of smart meters to reduce the non-revenue water, and construction of biocenters in various informal settlements of Nairobi to improve sanitation and provide adequate sanitation to the residents of the city. Those are some of the solar farms that are assisting in pumping water to Oroitoktok town. I think we can proceed on. Those are some of the sanitation solutions that are being done at involvement of communities in cleaning up of various river basins in Nairobi. So rainwater harvesting for individual households is being done and various institutions. And currently about 100 public institutions have benefited from this initiative. I think this is some of type of the planned projects for that region. We have various dams also going to serve the Nairobi metropolitan region, and this is consistent with what I've heard about this region. Also, they are also not planned. We hope that also when we plan investment in Nairobi, we will be able to get some investors for this. The future project perspectives on financing of water projects. We expect that the bulk water operations will continue being a source that can generate some financing for programs, PPPs. We are imagining that wastewater treatment plants, water resource recovery, energy generation, and material recovery will be a thing of the past, and this is where investors can come in. And of course, we have opportunities for efficient operations where private parties can assist in ensuring that the operational efficiency is enhanced. And we have innovative resource mobilizations to take advantage of the climate funds. Yeah. Catchment conservation, this is also, you know, Nairobi is in the Eastern Aberdare, so communities and other stakeholders should be able to move and conserve the catchment so that we have a secure and continued water supply of the sources. Areas that may require innovative interventions, and this is where there are investment opportunities, high energy costs, aspects of ensuring that our operations are a bit not costly, and there is need to adopt renewable energy sources such as solarization. We have reduced water resources while the demands are increasing, so we need to ensure that our operations are efficient to ensure that the increasing consumer are met. Climate change effects, we have issues on drought, the huge financing requirements, high levels of non-revenue water, and of course we have the challenges of land acquisition and also the vandalism. I think these are areas that working together we can fight opportunities where stakeholders can invest in the water sector and see how we can manage to deliver services to the people.
Very good.
I think this brings us to the end, but I have a video which you can play. I think just to as a climax of all this. I think Collins, you can assist. This is a video of how we are doing. There's
built as a part of the fourth Nairobi water supply project. This 11.8 kilometer tunnel delivers clean water from the rivers of Murang'a to the city of Nairobi. The journey starts in the Murang'a region, where water is drawn from the rivers. Specially designed valves control how much water enters the tunnel, and flow meters monitor the system in real time, ensuring that every drop is accounted for and efficiently delivered to Nairobi. At the Kigoro water treatment plant, the first step in purifying the water is aeration. Oxygen is added to the water, which helps to remove unwanted gases and oxidize metals like iron and magnesium, making the water cleaner and clearer. Next, the calculation process. We add vitamins, chemicals that have small particles stick together to form larger clouds called flows. These flows make it easier to filter out impurities, improving the quality of the water. In the clarification process, tiny air bubbles are added to the water, lifting the flows to the surface. These are then skimmed away, leaving only the clean water below. This technology ensures that any remaining impurities are removed efficiently. Once clarified, the water passes through sand filters. The sand traps any remaining dirt or particles, ensuring that the water is even clearer and free of debris. To ensure that the water is free from harmful bacteria and viruses, it passes through the feed disinfection system. The UV light kills microorganisms without adding any chemicals to the water, making it safe to drink. Finally, a small amount of chlorine is added to keep the water clean as it travels to homes and businesses. The treated water is stored in large reservoirs, which is distributed to all of Nairobi. During the treatment process, impurities are collected as sludge. This sludge is treated and safely disposed of, while any remaining water is recycled back into the system, ensuring minimal waste. Thanks to the northern collector tunnel, clean, safe water now flows in the homes of millions, as well as schools, hospitals, and major industries like EPZ and Runda. This project ensures that the people of Nairobi have access to the water they need for a healthier and brighter future. From the treatment plant, water flows through a vast pipeline network to Nairobi, one of the central distribution points in Nairobi. From here, the water is stored and distributed to the neighborhoods across the city. Nairobi's intricate water distribution network ensures that clean, treated water reaches every corner of the city. From large industries to individual households, this last-mile delivery system brings life-sustaining water to over 1.2 million people. This monumental project is a result of a partnership between the Kenyan and French governments. With the crucial support from the French Development Agency, AFD, and the Ministry of Water, this collaboration has brought life-sustaining water to Nairobi. Together, we are building infrastructure that ensures a sustainable future for generations to come. The Northern Collector Tunnel is more than just a project. It's a tunnel of life. By providing reliable access to clean water, this tunnel is transforming Nairobi, securing the future of businesses, families, and communities.
Thank you.
Infrastructure in place,
Thank you. Thank you.
is brighter. It's growth, secure, and it's equal empowered.
Thank you. Thank you.
and we are at the water.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. As we prepare for the next presentation by Georgina, about 10 minutes. I want to just advise if you have any queries or questions.
Moderator, maybe you can use your mic.
You just prepare them. We'll give you an opportunity to ask.
Use mic.
It's not tricky.
You use that.
Good afternoon, and I'm happy to be here. My name is Georgina. I will be very, very brief. So before we start, you look like you're about to fall asleep. Please don't fall asleep on me. I'll try to be as brief as possible. So I want to start with a very obvious yet very ignored question. What percent of youth cover the population in Africa right now? Just anybody from the, what do you think is the percentage of the youth in Africa? I had a 60, that's actually very correct. Youth occupy about 60% of the population in Africa. And out of the 60%, in Nyanza alone, the population from all the Nyanza counties is at least 40% youth, okay? So who am I? My name is Georgina Kerubo. I serve in many capacities. I'm not gonna bore you with that. But if you want to see me, I will talk to you and bore you with that stuff, yeah? So how are youth involved in climate and activism and climate action? So the role of youth in climate action, for one, at least we have covered how much they cover in a population. And that means, what does that mean? Food for thought, yeah? For things to actually work, you need to involve the youth. Not just talk for the youth, but bring them into spaces and tables where decisions are being made. You cannot keep saying the youth say, the youth did. Bring the youth. Let them tell us what they want. Let them tell us what they are facing as difficulties, as challenges, and how they can be helped. Stop talking for the youth. Talk with the youth. Stop making them. My teacher of English used to say, reported speech. Yes? Why are you reporting on behalf of the youth? Let the youth talk on their own behalf because they deserve a space on tables where decisions are made. At the end of the day, they face these challenges. They are the ones you're living with these challenges. What do you expect them to do if you keep talking for them and not them talking on their own behalf? So the role of youth in climate action. Youth as agents of change across the globe, they have been at the forefront of climate activism, driving movements like Fridays for Future and youth-led climate strikes. And in regions like Nyanza, with its youthful population, the potential for impactful action is even greater. Young people in Nyanza are already involved in innovative climate initiatives, such as tree planting campaigns, sustainable agricultural practices, and renewable energy practices. As my co-speaker is gonna speak, because I also have projects that I do, but what she does, I am happy. I am happy because you are doing what we want to see. You are bringing the youth to do what they want to do, not what people want them to do. That's the difference. And I am happy for you, Bella. Personally, I serve as, out of my very many hats, I serve as the sustainability coordinator for ICISA Foundation, where we are coming up with creative solutions to protect the environment, reduce waste, and advocate for clean energy. The potential for scalable, locally driven solutions is immense, but these people, we need support. I need support. As a member of ICISA Foundation, as a member of the very many other organizations of the youth that I am. In a global perspective, the youth involvement isn't just a local concern, it's a global movement. In Africa, the youth represent more than 60%, as we already saw, and that demographic is leading the charge on climate solutions that benefit not only their communities, but the world. I'm not gonna bring up examples of what we've done as Kenyan youth. It's been out there, it's been a role model to other youths. I'm not going to talk about that. Next slide, please. So why is youth involvement crucial? One, they are uniquely positioned to tackle climate change because one, of course, they will inherit its impacts. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but engineer, you're phasing out, yes? It's your child, your grandchild after that is gonna be like, oh my God, my county is flooding. What am I supposed to do? I'm sorry, you probably might be long dead. You've left them with no way to make a solution. What next? You leave a generation that cannot stand on its own. And that is why I keep insisting, have the youth on board. For solutions to be there, they need to know where the grassroots problem is, okay? They need to understand that if you solve this problem in the Lake Basin, in the next few years, we will not be experiencing floods. If you sort this problem with water hyacinth, we will not be having the problems we're having at the lake. Yes? But if you keep saying, oh, we sat at a board, discussed, what does that help me? What if you face out of that board? What do I know I'm supposed to do? Where do I start? You'll just tell me it's flooding. Okay, it's flooding. So where do I start? Bring the youth on board. So it's basically what is there, how we are affected, how they will be around the longest, and yada, yada, yada. So as long-term solutions, we have the passion. I am here. People assume I am way older. Nah, I am a kid. But that's the thing. I am passionate about what happens in my home. I am passionate, like, I have to wake up and figure out what the problem is for me to be able to come up with a solution. So the creativity and the energy, it's there. And they have a long commitment. And as we push for climate justice, youth will be instrumental in ensuring the solutions are not just temporary, but sustainable for future generations. Next slide. So how do you help us? Most importantly, and I think I can say kudos to our parents, you've invested in our education. But other than education, other than what we are doing in class, what else do we need? Teach us how to be entrepreneurs, teach us how to make renewable energy technologies, sustainable agriculture, project management, how to communicate. It is one thing to bring me on board. It's another thing for me to actually talk about what is going on and make sense to you, for you to give me your funds. Okay? I can sit with a donor, but if I do not know how to communicate and articulate what the problem is and how I plan on getting a solution, then you're not helping me. So as much as you're bringing me on board, bring me on board with a collective hand of this is how you will maneuver once you get to this space. I do not know how to. I am willing to learn. Are you willing to listen and to teach is the question. Are you willing to let your kids ask you, Dad, so this is the political situation in our country. How do we go about it? Because at the end of the day, they are going to make the decisions that most affect us. So investors can also support youth-led startups and climate solutions by providing seed funding or partnerships, and they can enable young innovators to scale their businesses, such as clean energy solutions or eco-friendly technologies. These investments not only address the environmental crisis, but they also create sustainable livelihoods for youth. So the private-public partnerships can be key in unlocking these potentials, and government and private organizations must collaborate to create platforms where young leaders can showcase their ideas, access funding, and connect with mentors who can guide them in scaling the project. So for my call to action, which is on the next slide, regarding how much of the population that we cover as youth, we cannot afford to wait any longer. The youth of today, which is me, your son, your nephew, your niece, are ready to act, but they need your support, okay? Whether through investment in education, funding for green startups, or mentorship, we must empower the leaders of tomorrow today. So inspiration, investing in youth isn't just an act of philanthropy. It's an investment to our collective future. Let's ensure that the leaders of Nyanza and the world have the tools and resources to tackle the climate challenges we face. Together, we can build a sustainable future driven by young people who are already creating solutions we need. And as a final thought, I would like to quote one of the renowned climate activist Greta Thunberg, and she once said, "We cannot solve a crisis without treating it as a crisis." We cannot, can you just digest that for a minute? We cannot solve a crisis without treating it as a crisis. So let us invest in our youth, empower their leadership, and build a resilient and sustainable future for all. Thank you very much.
Give a round of applause. We have our last presenter.
No, second,
Then after
second last.
last
she's a
speaker is
panelist.
Bella. Then we have our first reaction from the panelists.
It was a well thought out panel.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Belmi Kipruto. I'm the CEO and founder of Ustawi Organic Farms, where we convert organic waste into bioproducts, and we also use pyrolysis in the sector of biochar. I'm here today as an entrepreneur in the waste sector and in turn in the climate space. I want to talk about, can go to the next slide kindly. The power of innovation in Nyanza. When it comes to climate actions and waste management, Nyanza, specifically Kisumu, we are only second to Rwanda in East Africa. And this is through eco-friendly energies and sustainable agriculture. And through this, we realized we can link the two, which is waste management and sustainable agriculture. Because agricultural waste makes a huge percentage of organic waste that is produced. Kenya produces 60% of organic waste, and most of this just ends up in the landfills, causing pollution because of the emission of methane. And this is the reason why empowering entrepreneurs in this sector, in this space, is very important, because we are the only entrepreneurs, I dare wish to say that, we are the only entrepreneurs or innovators who put planet and people first before profit. So we always put planet first, then the people, then profit comes as a reward. And who doesn't like money, right? And so I believe we should be put in the forefront of investment. Because growing up, I remember January was known as a very dry month. But in Kisumu, we've been experiencing a lot of rain in January, yet people say climate change is a hoax. Is it really? Is it? Next slide, please. So for entrepreneurs like myself in the green sector, the biggest challenge we encounter is lack of funding, because people have not really been able to understand this sector, because it's still somehow new, and people view waste as waste. People don't view waste as a resource. So if we can get more investors coming in to support innovators in this field, I believe we might be able to overcome these barriers. And then knowledge gaps, as I said, little is still, more is still to be known and little is known. For instance, what we do with insect technology, we realize BSFL has the power to, it has microbes, and this can be used in the pharmaceuticals, but there's little to no research in this area. So if we can fill the knowledge gaps, this way it will inform investors on how to fund this sector. Another is infrastructure limitations. it is very capital intensive to operate an organization such as mine. So if more can be put into it, we can be able to scale up, therefore uptaking more. And with circular economy, we are people who try to get as much from resources as possible before we dispose it. Currently, Kenya is operating at a linear system where we just produce, use, and dispose. But with circularity, we try and ask ourselves, how can we, before disposing, what more can we get from this resource before disposing it? Next slide, kindly. So a call to action in helping entrepreneurs in this sector to overcome barriers is to establish investment hub. Kenya, we are somehow okay because we have KCIC who are doing a very good job in incubations and accelerations, but it is still not yet enough. Then we have policy. For instance, we don't even have policies on KEBS when it comes to products that are gotten from waste. Another one is to develop packages. Give us markets. Please give us markets. And then foster collaboration. This is with development partners. Banks should also relook on how they're financing such enterprises. So what is the role of community in driving change? Communities need to shift their perspectives, recognizing young people, as Georgina has said, because we are very innovative, we are very skillful. And so if we are given these chances and these spaces to speak and actually contribute, I believe we can be able to revolutionize this space. So investing in sustainable solutions, at Ustawi, we are proof that how you can see how investing in sustainable solutions can transform lives. And with the right resources and support for young innovators, can build profitable ventures and tackle climate challenges. And then our youth have the potential to create a sustainable future for all of us. The vision ahead is to invest in potential. Africa has a record of not respecting innovation and entrepreneurs. We tend to respect politicians, which is not a bad thing, but for us to move to be a developed country, such as the US, they respect entrepreneurs. They give entrepreneurs seed. They believe in potential even before they see. But in Kenya, you can have a prototype, you can even have an operational business, but still getting funding is very, very hard, or raising seed capital is very, very hard. And then overcoming barriers that I've mentioned and empowering young innovators. And of course, when you invest in green entrepreneurs, you're guaranteed for a sustainable future. And so lastly, is just to have a collective effort to empower people in these spaces, because it's a very vast space. When you look on organic waste, plastic waste, water waste, with the human fecals, organic waste, and even glass. So I believe that's all I have for today. Thank you for giving me your ears. And thank you.
Thank you. As you prepare any reactions from the plenary, we are a bit short of time, but I'd like to ask our panelists to come and have the first reaction.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. My name is Victoria Adwet. I'm the founder of the Kisumu Youth Wash Parliament. Kisumu Youth Wash Parliament is a youth-led, youth-driven organization in Kisumu. We deal specifically in matters water, sanitation, and hygiene, as well as WRM, and also climate action. And I can say a brief history of what made us to come up with the Kisumu Youth Wash Parliament is because we saw that there was a gap in the society when it comes to involving the youth, when it comes to having practical solutions to some of the things that are going on in the community. A good example is when a water service provider talks about non-revenue water and the numbers are high. And we were like, we can actually involve youth within this community to be reporting, because youth are known to leverage on technology, to be reporting on such matters. You see, with that, we would be working hand in hand with the government to ensure that we reduce non-revenue water. Another thing that made us to come into place is because we have the freshwater lake here, yet it gets polluted by the day. So some of the things we have been doing include going to the communities and finding out how best can we solve this problem, because you find the rot or the pollution that ends up in the lake does not start from there. It starts from other regions or other counties, and the lake is just an end point. So some of the initiatives that we've come up with is really involving using social media to educate and sensitize and capacity build the community to know the best practices of taking care of our water resources. And that leads me to the first question. It goes to Engineer Alima. Just as the last two presenters have talked about, you find that the solution is with us, but there is a lot of bureaucracy when it comes to some of these problems. A good example is what I've told you. How do we manage the waste? Waste has been a big problem when it comes to our counties. How do we manage this waste? Just as the previous speaker has talked about, she's handling organic waste, and you find that in our dump sites, organic waste is the biggest menace that we are dealing with. When you're coming to water pollution, you find that groups like Kisumu Youth Wash exist, and they can actually be used appropriately to bring about solutions to some of these problems, because we possess the ideas, but nobody is tapping onto them. There is a lot of bureaucracy when it comes to leveraging on the innovative ideas that we have as young people. So how best can the government, be it at national level or at the county level, work with young people, tap onto the potential of these young people who are driven by the need to see the actual change? How can the duty bearers take advantage of this and ensure that we are making our society, our Kenya, a better place, and ensuring that water security is at the forefront of what we are doing, because all other industries depend on water. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question, which is a very good question indeed. Now, over the years, we have treated waste as something that should not be thought about. We have, particularly human waste, we have treated it as something that should not even be touched, something that you should not see. And therefore, I want to thank the youth for bringing that culture change, because I'm working with several youth groups in Nairobi. There's one called Mazingira Yetu. They clean the river, they take the solid waste to areas where there should be. But more important is cleaning the river, the act of seeing that the river which is polluted is recovered. The river that is polluted is recovered, and they collect the solid waste, and they use that solid waste. Some are being used to make baskets, make chairs, yeah, to recover what's supposed to be useful, and it's being used. So the idea of working with the youth at this stage is a pregnant idea, because the youth are adventurous. They are not like us, old people. Old people who went to school and saw the culture of being clean, the culture of not wanting to venture into new things. When it comes to non-revenue water, we lose a lot of water. For example, in Kisumu here, we lose 38%. Yeah, and it's going down. Kisumu is doing well. Nairobi, we lose around 40%. Overall, we lose 43%. But we have been asking utilities, first of all, to uptake technology, which you have talked about here. Uptake of technology is low in the sector. Introduce smart metering so that you are able to have your audit, water audit well done. You are able to have your water balance well done. Work with the people to tell you where they have seen the leak. Because some leak can appear on the surface. Some leak, particularly what we call the weeping leak, will take time. You can see the ground wet, but you will not know it is your clean water. But if you engage people, and they will see that even if it is dry, it has not rained for 2 months, but a place is wet, that means water is coming from the ground to report. That is taking the time to do. So it is important that we work with the youth. It is important that we engage them. It is important that we work together with them to solve problems, so that the society can live better. I want to just surprise you, the three of us, the three engineers who are here, are from the same school. I've just realized when we were here that we were at one time in the same school. Thank you.
Thank you.